what do you do? How do you stay optimistic? How do you adjust to the changes, watching someone just decline slowly? Life changed for both of us.
That's how he got diagnosed. He was tripping a lot, so we kind of pursued, like, why is he tripping? So it was quite shocking because he did not have tremors, and nobody we knew had Parkinson's.
Welcome. We created this video to help you care for someone living with Parkinson's disease. You may not feel prepared for this role, but there are many resources and a community of professionals and Parkinson's caregivers to help you. We'll be looking at the early, middle, and late stages of Parkinson's, focusing on caregiving information and recommendations related to each stage. We'll also cover what to expect, how to prepare, and we'll provide strategies to help you along the way. Let's start with a quick overview. Parkinson's is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that occurs when nerve cells in the part of the brain called the basal ganglia become impaired. This causes a decrease in the production of dopamine, which is essential for body movement. In addition to the movement symptoms of Parkinson's, such as tremors and muscle rigidity, many people will also experience a wide range of non-movement symptoms. These may include cognitive and hard-to-manage changes like dementia, hallucinations, and sleep problems. The average age of diagnosis is 60, and risk increases with age. Keep in mind that symptoms develop slowly over time and can vary for each person. The exact cause of Parkinson's is unknown, yet researchers believe it may be due to a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Before we get started, here are 5 key takeaways you should know as a caregiver. Get support early. This is not a caregiving role that is easy or can be done alone. Connect with knowledgeable medical providers who specialize in treating and managing Parkinson's disease. Learn about Parkinson's specific resources and services available to you. Review your medical, legal, and estate plan preferences and update them as needed. And take time to care for yourself. In the early stages of Parkinson's, people usually need more emotional support than hands-on care. You may notice changes that include tremors and muscle rigidity. You may also see changes in posture, facial expressions, or speech. Typically, symptoms begin on one side of the body and progress to both sides over time. These symptoms and receiving a diagnosis can be very distressing. The person with Parkinson's may be in denial of their diagnosis. You may have to take the lead in researching information and resources. Newly diagnosed individuals and their families can join a support group to help ease anxiety and learn proactive coping skills. Individual counseling may also be very helpful.
I asked him after the first meeting, I said, "Does this make you depressed to see all these other people?" And he said, "No, maybe I can help them." So he was quite upbeat about the diagnosis. He had trained to become a pastor, so he had a pastoral heart.
So there was more denial from him and acceptance, but because he was so prideful, he really kept trying to do things, on his own. He wanted to hold on to who he was.
Parkinson's disease can be difficult to diagnose as there is no definitive test, and other illnesses have similar symptoms in the early stages. Some individuals may receive an initial diagnosis of Parkinson's, but additional testing or future symptoms may result in a different diagnosis. Get started by connecting with medical providers who understand and have experience with the disease. The Parkinson's Foundation website provides information on centers of excellence across the United States. Although there are no cures for Parkinson's disease yet, there are ways to treat and manage symptoms. Surgical procedures, such as deep brain stimulation or DBS, may be recommended for some. You may also want to explore current research opportunities where Parkinson's-specific trials are being conducted. If you are related to someone with Parkinson's, you may be wondering if you should get tested. Only 10 to 15% of Parkinson's cases are believed to be genetic. If you do decide to get tested, meet with a genetic counselor who can provide information, support, and guidance. Social workers can help connect you to resources and referrals in your community and provide you with supportive counseling. How are you feeling about your loved one's diagnosis? Sadness, anger, fear, disbelief? Perhaps you feel relief at finally having an explanation for the unusual changes you've been observing. All of these feelings are normal. As a caregiver, you may experience many different emotions over time. Feelings of loss and frustration can be profound. Two types of loss common for caregivers are ambiguous loss and anticipatory grief. We experience ambiguous loss when someone is there but not there, when they're not the same person they used to be. Anticipatory grief occurs when we know a loss is coming and we start grieving before it occurs. In the early stages, it's very important to find support and ways to cope with these feelings even before you think you need it.
Because people don't understand how much work it is. And it's not about just hiring help. It's work, emotional work, and it's mentally challenging.
Although there is no one right way, there are healthy ways to deal with your feelings of anxiety, loss, and grief. Write in a journal to name and express your feelings. Many caregivers find journaling or writing in general useful, even therapeutic. Physical exercise, prayer, meditation, relaxation exercises, support groups, talking one-on-one with a friend or counselor, and creating new rituals can help you stay well and build resiliency. Engaging in activities that decrease stress and are fulfilling should be a priority. Parkinson's can affect everyone in the family in different ways. This includes you as the caregiver, the person with Parkinson's, relatives, and family. Each will require their own kind of support. Both you and the person you care for will have to learn to balance Parkinson's symptoms and care needs with the desire to be independent. You both should keep dates with friends, keep up with interests and hobbies, and do things that fill you with joy. One common question caregivers ask is, what will happen to the person I care for if something happens to me? One thing you can do is make sure that your own legal and financial documents are updated. This is also a good time to encourage the person with Parkinson's to make or update their legal and financial arrangements, especially before they experience significant cognitive changes. For them, it's best to speak with an attorney who specializes in disability and estate planning. Key documents to complete include a durable financial power of attorney, an advance healthcare directive, a will and/or trust, and a post form which specifies end-of-life medical intervention. This is also a good time for the person with Parkinson's to sign a release of information, allowing medical staff to speak with you and others who are closely involved in their care. If you or the person with Parkinson's is employed, it is important to contact the Human Resources Department to learn about eligible benefits, such as long-term disability and paid and unpaid family leave options. Securing financial help from the government can be a challenging and confusing process. Seek out experts to help you early on. Consult with an attorney, a community organization, or legal aid office that specializes in Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. They can also help you navigate Medicare and Medicaid. A person is eligible for Medicare when they turn 65, or if they become disabled earlier and have been receiving SSDI for 24 months. It's important to remember that Medicare does not pay for long-term care, such as care provided in an assisted living or skilled nursing facility, or for private care at home. If the person you care for is a veteran, applying for benefits and enrolling in the VA healthcare system should be done as soon as possible. Your local veteran service organization can offer guidance about service-connected Parkinson's and assist with completing necessary paperwork. In the middle stages of Parkinson's, you'll need to help with basic personal care, such as bathing, dressing, and brushing teeth. Tremors, rigidity, and other movement symptoms will progress. The individual may experience more problems with walking, and balance issues will make falls more common. This can be coupled with slower mental processing, language, and visual spatial difficulties. As symptoms progress, it's common for caregivers to feel isolated while dealing with new stages of grief and loss. Too often, just when you really need more support, friends and even family may step back, unable to witness your pain and your loved one's decline. They may not understand the disease or how they can help.
And when people say, well, I don't know what help you need, I said, just bring over 2 cookies and ask me to make you a cup of tea.
Reach out with suggestions or ways for them to be supportive. Contact a social worker for helpful resources or to facilitate a family meeting. This may also be the time to bring in outside assistance, whether from family, friends, or a hired caregiver. Talk with your doctor or counselor. Attend a support group or retreat designed for caregivers.
You have to keep trying to do what you can for him, but also for yourself. And that's when a lot of times I felt like I was being selfish, but I needed to take care of me. And I used to say, I can't do for him if I'm not doing for myself first.
If you're feeling depressed, anxious, or angry, know that these emotions are hard to deal with on your own. There are effective ways to help you cope and feel better. Don't wait to ask for help. If you need more time off, there are out-of-home respite options for your loved one, such as adult day programs or a short-term stay in a care facility. Too often, caregivers don't feel they need a break until they experience a crisis or problem with their own health. We encourage you to seek respite early and as often as you need it. Some signs that you need more support and time to care for yourself include health issues, like a rash or an ache that won't go away, rising blood pressure, chronic health conditions that are getting worse, trouble sleeping, feeling anxious, irritable, and less patient, turning to alcohol or drugs to relieve stress. Be sure to prioritize your physical and emotional well-being. It may cause you anxiety to take time for yourself because you worry something bad will happen or you feel guilty. The truth is, it's essential to confront these concerns and take time to step outside of the caregiver role. Because Parkinson's causes unsteady movement, it's important to identify potential hazards that may exist in the home. A physical therapist or PT can complete an evaluation of the person, assess the home for safety issues, and suggest modifications, such as bathroom grab bars for getting in and out of the shower. PTs can also recommend other types of equipment and ways to prevent falls and injury. Staying active is vital for individuals with Parkinson's disease. A range of Parkinson-specific exercise classes are available across the country and online, including boxing and dance classes. An occupational therapist or OT will help promote independence and safety for the person living with Parkinson's. They can suggest assistive devices and tips to help with daily activities and personal care. For safety outside of the home, we recommend the person with Parkinson's carry an ID card or wear a bracelet that specifies their health condition and who to contact in an emergency. You should also carry identification that you are a caregiver for someone who may need assistance if you become injured or unable to communicate. As the disease progresses, swallowing issues, along with speech and voice disorders, can have a significant impact on the person's quality of life. It is recommended they get a baseline speech evaluation along with speech therapy to help with difficulty talking and swallowing. A dietitian can provide guidance on proper nutrition and create individualized meal plans, as food can impact medications and non-movement symptoms. Dietitians can also help with planning the timing of meals and medications. Palliative care helps to improve the quality of life for people who have debilitating chronic health conditions. Palliative care teams can help manage symptoms and reduce suffering. A person does not have to be in hospice to qualify. Contact the medical team for referrals to any of these services, and if it's difficult to attend appointments in person, ask providers about telehealth or virtual visit options. Now, let's talk about the late stage of Parkinson's disease. This is when the person will need assistance with mostly all of their personal care. As symptoms progress, they will require assistance walking, and eventually it will be impossible to even stand. Some individuals may experience hallucinations and delusions, as well as other non-movement symptoms. Talk with their medical team about all the ways to reduce pain or suffering and increase comfort. Remember, you are their connection to quality care and services when they can no longer advocate for themselves. There may come a time when the person living with Parkinson's requires a higher level of care than can be provided at home. For some, moving a loved one to a nursing facility can be a tough but necessary decision. You may feel like you've failed or you're breaking a promise, even when you know that moving them will provide better care and safety. If you're considering a skilled nursing facility, it's helpful to get a list of local options and be sure to visit.
I said, you need to be in a facility where you get the care. I said, this is too much for me. And it took us like a good 8 months to get to that point.
Even with your loved one in a skilled nursing facility, this does not mean that your role as a caregiver ends. Your presence and advocacy will help ensure that proper care is provided. Hospice services are designed to support individuals towards the end of life. Care can be provided wherever the person resides, including at home or in a care facility. This includes visiting nurses, pain management, and personal care. Hospice can also provide spiritual, grief, and bereavement support, as well as respite for family caregivers. Hospice is a Medicare benefit, and individuals are eligible when a doctor has determined a patient has 6 months or less to live. Ask your doctor for a referral to begin services, or hospice can assist you in getting a referral if the patient is eligible. Find out more about all of the topics addressed in this video through the accompanying Parkinson's Disease Caregiver Resource Guide, speaking with the person with Parkinson's medical team, and by contacting your local Parkinson's support organization. Finally, we want to remind you of these important key takeaways. Get support early. Connect with Parkinson's specialists. Identify local resources. Review your medical, legal, and estate plan preferences and update them as needed. And make time to care for yourself.
So building that care team is very important because it gets worse and worse. It was a constant balance of what to do and what not to do.
I just really think what helped me was the support groups and the education. And awareness, But there's also a commitment to that. You have to want it.
We want to thank you for viewing this video, and we hope the information included here will give you a starting point for questions to ask and resources to request so that you feel more informed and supported in your caregiving journey.